friends, welcome to Legal Learning. So today I'm going to give a very quick overview of fundamental rights. It is just an introductory overview, and this video will be relevant for judicial service mains examination. So here I am going to discuss only 3 case laws and the object and need and also definitions of fundamental rights. So what is fundamental right? There are certain keywords which you need to keep in mind. First of all, it is natural right. It is basic right, or it is a kind of elementary right. It is sacred and it is elementary. It is inalienable as well as inviolable. Inalienable means it cannot be separated from any mankind, because every human being on this earth is entitled to that fundamental right without any qualification, and without any qualification as to race, caste, sex, education or anything like that. And it is natural because when you are born, you are qualified to have fundamental rights. It is your birthright, and with your very existence this right is available. And it is sacred and it is very elementary, that means very basic right, and inviolable under Constitution of India. That means it cannot be violated, destructed or cannot be taken away by anyone. Okay, so these are certain keywords which is important. Now here we are going to discuss about a case law, because when you will write mains answer, you have to quote case law a lot, because it's very important. So what is the need of fundamental right? This case law is not Indian. It is West Virginia State Board of Education versus Barnett, Barnett. Barnett. This is a case of 1928, and the justice name is Jackson Justice. You have to quote the name of the justice as well, the title of the case as well as its date. It's year is enough. Citation is not needed, because entire citation it will give you a lot of pressure in your mind, so only year is enough. It's better if you quote the name of the justice as well, because it will look good. So what are the need of the fundamental rights? There are 3 points only. The first one is to withdraw certain subjects from the vicissitudes of political controversy. This line might are under the quotation. So withdraw so that political controversy, these subjects are free from any kind of political controversy, and place them beyond reach of majorities and officials and the rule of majority cannot reach them or cannot violate them. And these are certain principles that is to be applied by the court while interpreting the rights of the people or interpreting the constitution. These 3 points are important. Now what is the need of fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are limitations upon the powers of the government. The government's power might be executive and legislative. These executive and legislative powers might sometimes this policy making power or this enactments, legislative when government frames certain kind of legislation, this power might violate the fundamental rights of the Constitution of India. So the limitations are imposed on the power of the government, both legislative and executive, and these are essential for the preservation of public and private rights. Public and private rights means individual rights and social rights. There's always conflict between individual rights and social needs. Okay, sometimes my individual right might conflict the social needs. Sometimes it is better for larger interest than my own individual interest. So there need to be a strike. There need to strike a balance between both individual rights and social needs. Done. Then Nagar versus Union of India. What was held in this case? The nature of fundamental right. Okay, nature. It represents the basic value cherished by people since Vedic times. Vedic times, so we know the basic Vedic literature, right? So we had a Vedic era. So since that time onwards, this fundamental rights represents the very basic or the very core value that was cherished by the people, that was followed by the people since Vedic time, and this protects the dignity of the individual, right to live in dignity. And this is very essential for the fullest development of the personality of the individual, and these are kind of pattern of guarantee and a negative obligation upon the state. These points are very important. Then comes the object. Object is to establish a government of law and not of man. That means to establish the rule of law and not the rule of women caprice. Rule of law, we know that this is rule of law. There are 3 points relating to the ABDC's rule of law. So and that is a rule of law and not of man. That means there is only reasonable law. There is nothing arbitrary, unreasonable law. There is place of justice and fair play. Right, these points you can note. Then comes Nagar versus Union of India 2017. In this case, it was held that fundamental rights are not gift from the state. State didn't give us. Individual possesses independently of any constitution or any status or anything, language, caste or anything. So state is not giving these rights to us. These are not gift. We possess it. We have it. independently of any constitution, any state, and anything in his role, right? So striking a balance between the individual liberty and social needs. There you can quote one case, say Gopalan versus State of Madras. See, there's one thing is important. There cannot be any right, just like absolute right, because we know one thing: power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So unrestricted, unlimited, and absolute rights are something that's not possible in a free society. So there need to be some restrictions, but the restrictions should be reasonable. That means it must follow the rule of intelligible differentia. It can differentiate, but the differentia should be based on intelligible calculations. Intelligible differentia having sufficient nexus with the object sought to be achieved. So here you can quote another case, A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras. This is a case of 1950. There cannot be any such thing as absolute and uncontrolled liberty, wholly free from restraint, for that will lead to anarchy and disorder. So this you can quote exactly as it is in the exam. If you quote, it will fetch more marks. So thanks for watching. Here I just gave the nature of fundamental rights and meaning and nature of fundamental right only. So I will deal with the other aspects of fundamental right in my next video. If you like this video, please do not forget to share, subscribe, like, comment. Thanks for watching.